Hi, welcome to Bench Movie Club. I'm Ben.
No, you're not.
Hi, welcome to Bench Movie Club. He's Ben.
I'm Ben. Why are you doing like 3 minutes? Why are you doing that for?
Hi, welcome to Bench Movie Club.
All right.
I'm Charlie.
I'm Ben. I had to think about that then. I was thinking of you saying the right names. Yeah, I'm Ben and that's Charlie.
And in this episode, we're going to be talking about my choice, the 1992 Unforgiven, winner of Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Supporting Actor for Gene Hackman. You haven't seen this film before?
No.
Okay, so just to summarise, it is a Western, but it's more of a drama, I think, which is about mortality and morality, people getting old, death. Gene Hackman actually initially turned it down because he had an objection to violent films at that point in his life. He'd seen loads of gun crime in America, said, look, I don't want to do it because gun crime. And Clint Eastwood said, look, read it again, think of it from the point of view that I'm actually showing the consequences of people dying. I'm showing that how it's not all like shoot and be a hero, because when people kill people in this, it tears them up inside, or they can't do it anymore. It shows it how it really is, rather than just shooting.
These questions Little Bill was asking, what kind were they?
About where you and him was.
Then what?
A cowboy come in saying he killed Quick Mike in the shithouse at the Bar T.
So Little Bill killed him for what we done, huh?
Not on purpose. But he started hurting him worse, making him tell stuff. First Ned wouldn't say nothing. And then Little Bill hurt him so bad, he said who you was. He said how you was really William Munny out of Missouri. And Little Bill said the same William Munny that dynamited the Rock Island and Pacific in '69, killing women and children and all. And Ned said he done a lot worse than that. Said he was more cold-blooded than William Bonney, and how if he hurt Ned again, he was going to come kill him. Like he killed a U.S. Marshal in '70.
Yeah, there's going to be spoilers in this film. The story behind the film is a prostitute has her face cut up by a couple of cowboys, and
It's one cowboy actually, isn't it?
it's one cowboy, but not satisfied with their punishment, all the prostitutes get together, put up a bounty for people to come and seek revenge on the man who cut up the woman's face. And Clint Eastwood is an old retired gunslinger. By all accounts, he was a scumbag. Used to kill women, children, but he met a good woman who settled him down. Directed by Clint Eastwood, written by David Peoples, who he cut his teeth co-writing Blade Runner. He also done Accidental Hero, 12 Monkeys, and Soldier. Clint Eastwood, who of course is known as an icon in films in the Western genre.
That's all he ever does, really, though, isn't it? And that is all he's ever done, Clint Eastwood. He's all just been like Dirty Harry, kind of.
Well, no. Dirty Harry's not a cowboy.
The Fistful of Dollars or something.
Yeah, Good, Bad and the Ugly. Oh, he's got a classic.
But that's all he really does, isn't it? There's not really any.
No. That was like how he sort of was most known for, because he started out in Rawhide and he done a series of Sergio Leone Western films, most famously The Good, Bad and the Ugly.
Right.
So if there was a Mount Rushmore of, say, the 4 biggest Western stars, him and John Wayne would definitely be on there.
Yeah.
He also was Harry Callahan in You've Got to Ask Yourself, Do You Feel Lucky, Punk?
Yeah.
That's not a cowboy film. That's like a 70s cop drama.
Oh, is it?
So he done a series of films like Magnum Force. And he also, of course, done comedy like Any Which Way But Loose, The Orangutan.
Oh, right, yeah, of course.
Remember?
I thought it was Burt Reynolds.
No, he done a film. He worked with Burt Reynolds, but
I thought Burt Reynolds was working with a monkey in the film. Is it?
No.
No,
that was Clint Eastwood. Any Which Way But Loose, and
it must be something similar then that Burt Reynolds was in.
Well, Burt Reynolds.
There was a couple of them. Is it Cannonball Run?
Cannonball Run, yeah, and Smoking the Bandit. That was the Burt Reynolds type. They was both at the same time. They were friends.
That's why.
And
That's
actually,
and both worked with a monkey.
Yeah, both. But Clint Eastwood's directorial career is probably more impressive. He started off with Play Misty for Me, The Outlaw, Josie Walls, Sudden Impact. Bird.
I've heard of Play Misty for Me. Is that about the radio talk show, the host, where she keeps phoning up and she keeps saying
she becomes obsessed.
She becomes obsessed with the. It's sort of like
that's him. He's in it. He's the radio DJ, and he directed. It was his directorial debut. He also done Mystic River, Bridges of Madison County, $1 Million Baby. Automatically, you think Clint Eastwood, you think cowboy, but the majority of his career actually wasn't westerns.
Right.
Yeah. Of course, he acted in Fistful of Dollars, Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Hang 'Em High, Kelly's Heroes, which was a war film, Dirty Harry, Magnum Force, Enforcer, Every Which Way But Loose, In the Line of Fire. Gene Hackman co-stars in this. He's from French Connection, Roll Tenenbaum.
in this, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I didn't like his character.
You're not supposed to like him. He's the antagonist.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good then. I didn't like him.
But what I think he done well with it is because he doesn't know that he's vile. You know, from his point of view, he's doing the right thing. He's going, well, it's only fair. They can go. You know, they're giving up their horses. He sees it very sort of black and white, and he thinks he's like the dog's bollocks walking about. He's a fantastic actor, Gene Hackman. He's one of my favourite American actors, I think. He's
what
quite
do I know him from? I do know
Superman.
him from Superman.
Superman, Poseidon Adventure, Runaway Jury, Crimson Tide. French Connection was like his real big one. French Connection 2. Morgan Freeman, of course, who's went on to do, well, before this he'd done Driving Miss Daisy, and he went on to do Seven, Shawshank Redemption, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, Dark Knight trilogy, Red. He's in everything nowadays, isn't he? Richard Harris plays English Bob. He's an Irish actor. He's in Gladiator, Camelot, Harry Potter films. Like, first of all, he was Dumbledore, and then he died, so they had to replace him.
Oh, he's died in real life?
He's died in real life.
Right.
He was only Dumbledore for the first 2 films.
I think I've seen one of the films, and it didn't grab me. And I know it's a big thing, and it's a really big thing with Harry Potter. And I would usually like a trilogy of stuff like that, but it just didn't get to me. I just didn't get it.
No, well, this is it.
I'm sure it's really good. I'm sure, as I say, it's got to be because people love it. But
to some people, it's like the Holy Grail. They love it. They absolutely adore. And like you, I watched the first Harry Potter, and I think I started watching the second one, and I just knew it weren't for me.
Yeah.
But in another life,
it was good. It was okay, but it wasn't like I probably maybe if I was younger and I'd seen it.
Yeah.
I might have liked it more. Yeah.
I think if I was like
I was
12,
I was the wrong age group. I think for it maybe.
Yeah, which is fine, but you can still I appreciate it. It's a well-made films, but yeah, it's also got Jaimz Woolvett plays the Schofield kid. He's in the White Fang TV series and Dead Presidents. He didn't have a huge career after this. He was fine. He was good in it, but it was almost like a shame like that role wasn't given to someone slightly bigger. He's one of the most important characters in it. He actually suffered from a brain tumour and a rare bone disease later in life, but I believe he's in remission. You got Saul Rubinek, who's in True Romance. He was in Schitt's Creek, where he played Tippy Bernstein. And
Tippy Bernstein in Schitt's Creek.
You know when her career's taken off again. Around the time she's making the Crow things, and he's like one of her old friends from Hollywood who comes visit. He's in Frasier. He plays Donnie, who Daphne's going to marry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
So, and True Romance. He's the film producer at the end of True Romance.
Can't think. It's been such a long time since I've seen that film. It's a good film, True Romance, but it's a long time since I've seen it.
And he's in Nixon as well. Anna Thompson, who's also in True Romance. We talked about it the other day. She's in Desperately Seeking Susan.
Who is she?
Another prostitute who has her face cut up.
Yeah. Oh, that's her. Yeah. That's her at Desperately Seeking Susan. I never would have thought that.
Yeah, you can sort of see she's got these like big round sort of eyes.
I never would have thought that. She's quite a pretty girl. It's a pretty girl. But no, she does. As I say, but I would not have thought that was the same girl in Desperately Seeking Susan, the one that's sitting on the sofa with Madonna outside the club. She's got glasses and. Yeah.
You know, she's also in The Crow and Wall Street. You've also got Lachlan Monroe, who's only got a small part. I don't know if you spotted it. Texas Slim. You know when they're shooting, they kill that guy, and they shoot that guy, and he crawls over and he's screaming out for water. And they said, give him some water. And you've got that goofy-looking guy.
Yeah.
He's at Scary Movie.
Okay.
He plays Greg in Scary Movie. You know the one I've mentioned before. He's like, yeah, that's my girlfriend, and everyone else is saying, yeah, it's my girlfriend too. And he's got little baby Willie.
Oh, him. Yeah.
That was him. He's also in White Chicks and Freddy vs. Jason.
Also, I noticed there was someone at the head of the whorehouse, the main woman. I looked and I thought, I know her face from somewhere, and it was really bugging me. and I couldn't work it out, so in the end I had to Google it. Found out that she's in Titanic. She's Rosie's mum from Titanic.
Right. Yeah.
You know, obviously, because I've seen that film. Most people have seen that film, and I looked and I thought I know her face, and I couldn't think how I knew her.
Yeah.
But then, as soon as you see it, you think, oh, that's Titanic. It was only about 5 years later. Wasn't it?
Yeah. So she looks about the same. You know.
I felt sorry for the Cowboys. I felt sorry for the other one.
Which one?
Because he didn't do nothing.
Oh, Morgan Freeman.
No, you know the two cowboys. There's one that cuts the girl up.
Oh, yes.
And so
and
they both tries hard with the same brush, and it's like he hadn't actually done anything. Well, he was trying to stop him from doing it.
Yeah, but that in itself is a lesson, isn't it?
But you sort of feel sorry for him because he gets killed for nothing.
Yeah, but that was purposeful because you see even from the beginning.
But it seems like the other cowboy didn't seem to care that he got him involved in it all.
No, of course he didn't. But this is what one of the lessons you learn from the film. It's like you might be a good person, but if you hang around with scumbags, you will get tired by the same brush. Doesn't matter that he tries to give that prostitute the horse.
Yeah.
Going, this is for her. Because
I thought that they was going to get together or something. I thought because when she was looking at him and all that, I thought that there's going to be like maybe a romance with her and him. No. Obviously that ended there and then.
No, but again, I think it's a valuable lesson because when people justify when, say, like their young kids get into trouble or they stab someone or they get stabbed or they're running with the wrong crowd and their parents are like, but he was a good boy, he was so good, it was them who led him astray.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you need to not hang out with these people.
Yeah.
If you lie down with dogs, you get fleas.
I mean, that other cowboy deserved what he got.
Oh,
but the younger one, I don't think did.
He didn't.
He didn't do anything.
But again...
And he had to lose his horses as well. He had to sort of pay the price, but then he also got killed. So you feel like, there's no justice there.
No, of course not. What I took from the film, the main themes of it, was the death. You know, how it's all about killing. How you got these people who, like, it's men who claim to be like fearless. They're like, yeah, I'm a gunslinger, I'm all this, and then they're exposed as cowards, like English Bob, when he turns up saying as if like I'm all this, and Gene Hackman even gives him the gun.
Yeah.
And he loses his bottle.
Yeah.
And you notice there's a little thing that Richard Harris included in that. Because Clint Eastwood's quite an open director. So when actors come to him and say, I want to do it like this, he goes, yeah, sounds good, go for it. And Richard Harris said, right, well, obviously I want him well-spoken when he's all well-spoken. But once he gets beaten and he's going out of town, he can start talking with a Cockney accent. So it's like he drops the facade. He shows that he's actually just like from the gutter. And that's when he goes, yeah, you're all scum. He starts talking more with a gutter voice. And you also find like the old people, the people who actually were hardened criminals like Clint Eastwood and Morgan Freeman, and they're past their best now. And you realise when you're older the value of human life. So when Morgan Freeman's going to shoot the guy, he loses his bottle. He's like, I can't do it.
Yeah,
I can't do it. And he values life too much now. It doesn't matter that he killed loads of people when he was younger, which I think is true because young people do take life for granted. When I was younger, someone could show me a video of someone dying or getting injured, and I'd go, like. Now, if someone tried to show me something like that, don't show me now.
Yeah.
I don't need to see that. That's someone's son. That's someone's dad. That's someone's brother.
Exactly.
You don't want to see stuff like that. You know, it's great character piece because it shows you all these different types of people who you can relate to real life, like the Cisco kid, who's all like, I killed 5 people, and he's all this, but he's actually short-sighted. He's literally short-sighted, as well as, metaphorically short-sighted. When he actually does kill someone for the first time, that's it. He just breaks down. He shows that he's still just a little boy. He's not a killer. In the script, it actually says that he drowns himself in real like after that, but they never showed that. When did you watch it?
A couple of nights ago. Watched it, I think, Friday night.
On your own?
Watched it on my own, yeah.
Okay.
And it was actually quite a good film. I mean, I don't like westerns, but it was a good film. I enjoyed it. It was.
I never expected you to love it.
No.
But,
No, but I liked it. It was a good storyline. It wasn't, as you say, it wasn't like a typical kind of western where it's all like just like shootouts and stuff. Like,
yeah. And I'm the best. And
and like standing there, like sort of one end of the road, with a dusty road, and they're both sitting there like chewing on a little stick and that kind of stuff. Yeah, weren't that kind of one. It was a good film. It was a good film. I enjoyed it. Good actors, good characters. Yeah, believable storyline. I didn't think I was going to like it, as you say. Like last week when you told me about it, I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. But it was a good film. Okay. As I say, it's not like my kind of film that I would go and it's not one that I'd go running to watch again. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would.
It also won Best Editing for Joel Cox, who's worked with over 30 Clint Eastwood films. He usually keeps the same crew, Clint Eastwood. He goes back to the same people. It was remade in 2013 as a Japanese film, with which they set in old Japan. But
what was the equivalent? I'm just trying to think this. Obviously, that during the Wild West sort of times. What was the, what
Victorian
times? What would we have been doing? It would have been Victorian times.
Like Jack the Ripper times.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I sort of think, so what was our equivalent? Because we never had, obviously, cowboys and Indians over here, did we?
Not really. Not like how they do in America. There would have been lawlessness.
So we would have basically, while they had the cowboys and Indians, we would have been in the Victorian times.
Yeah, we would have been in the Victorian era.
I just couldn't work out. I used to think, well, what would we be...
Just think
we've been doing at the time.
Jack the Ripper and Elephant Man type
Jack the Ripper
things.
sort of times.
Yeah,
Okay.
Clint Eastwood actually personally phoned Richard Harris to offer him the part, but Richard Harris thought it was a prank. Because at that time he was watching High Plains Drifter, which was a Clint Eastwood film. He was in his home in Barbados or something, sitting down in the basement watching High Plains Drifter, and his assistant said, "Oh, Clint Eastwood's on the phone," so he's gone to answer the phone. "Who's this? Is that you, Bob? Is that you?" He thought it was a wind-up. And then when he realised it was, he accepted the part almost straight away because he thought, well, it's got to be fate, hasn't it? I was watching...
He was watching the Clint Eastwood film,
yeah. And I like cowboy films. Yeah, I'll take the part.
And who was he?
He was English Bob. He was dedicated this film to his mentors, Sergio Leone and Don Siegel. So Sergio Leone done done many of his best Western films for Clint Eastwood, directed him in that, and Don Siegel directed him in the Dirty Harry films. So that he learnt a lot from them as a director. The main theme in it, the music, was written by Clint Eastwood. Even though most of the music wasn't, it was actually the main theme you hear in the film. And the boots that he wears are actually the same ones he wore in Rawhide back in 1959. So he kept holding boots for like 30 years.
Yeah.
But that makes sense because his character's old.
Yeah.
Although this is why I was looking up his age. So he was 60.
But when he filmed this?
Yeah.
Right.
And his wife is meant to have been dead for 6 years or something.
Right.
Because he's got these 2 young kids. But his wife's gravestone says William Munny's says that she was born 1849 and she died in 78, which made her 29 years old.
Yeah,
so you think,
possible, isn't it?
I suppose. But I mean, that means he would have been like early 50s and he was married to this 29-year-old. Unless he's supposed to be a younger, because people looked older back then, didn't they?
Yeah.
Maybe he's supposed to be like 40.
Yeah, the Rotten Tomatoes for this film were quite good. It was critics was at 96%, and the audience was 93%. So that's not bad at all, is it?
No, it's really good.
And also the IMDb, it was 8.2 on IMDb, which is quite a high score for IMDb.
An interesting little fact in this is the Schofield kid, who's obviously lying about the people that he's killed. He says that he's killed 5 people.
Right.
He said he calls himself the Schofield kid because of he's carrying a Schofield gun.
Right.
And he's saying this gun's killed 5 people, but it hadn't in real life. You know, obviously it hadn't up to that point. However, it does kill 5 people in the end because he shoots one person on the toilet, then he hands it to Clint Eastwood, and Clint Eastwood shoots another 4 people when he's in the bar, when he's having the shootout.
Oh, cool, sure.
So he does actually, it's almost like he predicted it. He Mystic Megged it, you know.
It also, the budget of this film was 14.4 million.
Yeah.
And it made in the box office 159.2 million.
Wow.
So that's really good.
Well, it is really good.
That's
It's
really
a good
good.
return.
Yeah.
I like how they made it because when he was scouting for the set, I believe they shot it in Canada, in Alberta, and Clint Eastwood and the producer were flying in a helicopter looking for these, and they found the land, and they thought, right, we'll build a cowboy town there. So they built a cowboy town in something like 39 days, during which time they could practice their horse riding. What they'd done, because he wanted to be authentic, people couldn't drive there. You had to park up miles away and everyone would ride in on horses.
Right.
So there was no chance someone accidentally leaves a car or any kind of modern stuff in it. And it just helps the actors. Can you imagine if you're shooting a film and the whole set, the whole thing feels like you're actually there?
Yeah.
It's easier to play.
When it in Downton Abbey, didn't there, was it Costa Coffee Cup or something?
No, that was
In the background. Something.
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
That was it, yeah. And
Which sort of, that's terrible, isn't it, really? When you look and you think, I mean, I didn't even notice it. I think it's only when it's pointed out, but then you look and it sort of just takes you a bit out of it a little bit, doesn't it?
yeah, Braveheart was notorious for it. In Braveheart, apparently people could spot people's watches
Yeah.
and a car in the background and stuff like that. But I really enjoyed, when I was watching this documentary about the making of it, you could see they actually looked like they really enjoyed this stuff. Clint Eastwood seems like a really easygoing person.
Yeah.
So like almost every time they'd finish the shoot, he'd sort of like make a little joke or something, and he'd sort of make everyone feel at ease.
Yeah.
He was just so friendly to everyone. And they just, every single actor you see, even Gene Hackman, who some people say is quite hard to work with, he has nothing but praise for him. He says, no, it's fantastic. You know, I loved that he let me do what I wanted to do. Yeah. He sort of sits back, and when Clint Eastwood was talking about the set, he says, listen, I'm just literally the guy pointing in the direction. It's not me who's made this film. It's all of us has made this film. All my crew. I happen to just be making the final decision, going, yeah, it's a good idea, we'll do that then. Which I think is the best way to direct anyway.
Of course, you get the best out of people then, I think, that way.
It's like, you
make it a pleasurable experience.
Yeah.
So people look back at it with fondness, rather than some people won't rewatch something if they've had a bad trip with it.
Like when I made my film, I know I had some very definite ideas for certain shots or certain ways scenes were going to be done, but then if the crew, like say Mike or John, suddenly went, well, you know, it'd be good if we do this shot here, and I'll go, yeah, okay, we'll do that then. We'll do that shot, and chances are I used it in the film anyway.
Where some people just don't, it's their vision and that's it.
Yeah.
Where sometimes, that's what I like with, what was it recently that people were adding stuff to and from? It was a film I think we covered recently that they used, the director would go, okay, we'll see how that goes, and they added bits into it.
Well,
was it
Abigail's Party sort of grew like that, didn't it? When it was on stage, because they had bits, weren't they?
Yeah, I think what he done with Abigail's Party, and I think what he does with lots of his characters, he gives them a backstory. He sort of from childhood to everything about their life, so then they have got that character in their head, and so then they can be that character. Yeah. And then a lot of it's improvised, isn't it?
Whereas you find loads of people, they say, no, word for word what's in the script.
Yeah.
Like, I think Kubrick is known for that. He sort of stick to the script.
Is he still alive, Kubrick?
No, he died.
Oh, he died, right.
Tarantino, he said, like, oh, yeah, they say all the words that are in the script, which is fine.
Yeah, it was a film I covered recently. We covered a film recently, and the director in that would be very open and listen to... And a lot of the stuff that the actors would say... was used in the film. Well,
do you remember also on Horrible Love, between scenes, I think you guys, you was one of the main four, and you came up with that scene, the Play With Us Danny.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought, yeah, that's great, let's shoot it. So we shot the scene, and it stayed in the film. Yeah. You know, it was one of the fun. It was a good moment of comic relief. It was nice. It was almost like a little sketch from a sitcom.
Yeah.
And I think that makes the film better. You got to get past your own ego. You can't sit there saying this was all me. This is my thing. Because films are collaborative, and by all accounts, that's how he works. So I rate him highly, Clint Eastwood, as a director.
He's good, a very good director, and it was a very good film. I wasn't looking forward to watching it. I was like.
Well done for
put the
watching
DVD in, and I was like, okay, right, here we go. And it was 2 hours. I was like, fuck's sake. But then I watched it. And
Did you have your phone in your hand?
No.
Yeah. It's such a liar.
No, I didn't. No. I did when I was trying to find out who that woman was. But yeah, no, it was a good film. As I say, I'm not into westerns, but as westerns go, it was a good one.
It actually opens and closes with the exact same location, camera angle, and time of day, where it's got that sort of silhouetted almost thing with, which is very much like High Plane Drifter, which is the one that Richard Harris was watching. Funny enough, it was originally going to be made by Francis Ford Coppola with John Malkovich in the role, but they didn't have enough funds. So even though I highly rate Francis Ford Coppola and John Malkovich, I like them both a lot, they would not have been right for this. No. This had sort of Clint Eastwood written.
But if they'd done it, you might not have seen any different. That's what I'm saying.
No, but I might have gone, oh, well, I'm glad Clint Eastwood didn't get it, because it would have been a typical western. Yeah. But I would have been wrong, because this really sort of cemented him as a serious director, especially where it went and won Best Picture and won him Best Director.
Yeah.
You know, and when it won Best Picture, it beat like A Few Good Men, Scent of a Woman. It weren't like they was up against nobodies.
So why do you like this film then?
I think
Is it like one of your favourite films?
It's definitely one of my favourite westerns. Prior to watching this...
Do you like westerns then?
I was never bothered about westerns that much when I was young. I liked the idea of them. I knew Young Guns, I'd seen that, and I thought that's enjoyable enough, but I never see it as a proper western, because I thought, well, westerns have got to be a typical sort of way that have got to be shot. But then I think this was my gateway film. because after watching this, I became, less judgmental, because you assume, it's just typical. Like how some people look at horrors, or some people look at comedies. They sort of like look down on them because it's a genre, and they go, it's typical. You use the exact same thing, good guy versus bad guy. But watching this, it made me more open my eyes a bit. And then I went on to watch there's loads of westerns now which I do like, and if it weren't for this, I wouldn't give them the time of day. So it's an important film for me. And watching it with Lily the other day, when I decided to watch it, I said,
Did she like it?
She liked it, yeah.
Did she?
But she didn't love it, but she liked it enough, she appreciated it, and she gave it...
that's the same with me. I appreciated
it,
and it was a good film, good cast, well acted, nice story. You appreciate it for what it is, but... Yeah, it's not, as I say, it's just not my go-to kind of film.
No. But, I'm glad you gave it the time of day.
Well, I had no choice, did I?
Yeah. When they're shooting the bits when they're on the horses as well, when you got the close-ups, because horses move, they're just sitting on ladders the whole time.
Okay.
And I mention that because I took a shot of it when I see it in the documentary, and I'm going to add it to our video because it looks quite funny. It's just like normal sort of standard ladders, and they're all sitting there striding it just so they can get the right height and the cowboy stuff. That was it then.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, good film.
Unforgiven.
Yeah, good film.
Yeah.
Don't do too many more westerns though, will you?
I'm going to do loads of westerns till you remember your notes. So, what did you learn from it?
Oh, nothing really.
You didn't learn to be a better person.
No.
Not to kill people.
No.
Have you not? How many westerns have you watched then?
I don't think I've ever really watched a full western.
You've seen Tombstone?
I've seen Tombstone, and I think was it Maverick?
Maverick.
But that was like more of a comedy.
Yeah,
western.
but it's still
See, that kind of that I liked. That was
Mel Gibson, Jodie Foster.
Yeah, Jodie Foster, and who else is it? There's three of them.
And James Garner.
Right.
Who was the original Maverick from the TV series?
Oh, okay.
Who played opposite.
But it was good. It was really good. I enjoyed that. See, that kind of...
so that's next week then? We're going to do Maverick?
No, we're not doing Maverick next week. I ain't doing no westerns. I won't be doing any westerns.
Well, we will do Maverick eventually, because I really enjoy Maverick.
Maverick, I didn't mind Maverick. Yeah. That was quite a good one.
And I watched that fairly recently as well, and it holds up. Yeah. It is really funny.
I can imagine it. I can imagine it holding up.
It's I think it's Richard Donner directed it, who of course made like Lethal Weapon films and Goonies, and it's very funny the way the film is shot. Cool. And Mel Gibson's very enjoyable to watch as that sort of comedic action style.
Yeah, and she's good as well, Jodie Foster.
Oh, she's great in actress,
isn't she?
Yeah, in that she's really funny.
She's she's probably one of the only sort of child actors that has gone on to make a really big career for herself. Because you get child actors. Oh, Drew Barrymore. Yeah, Drew Barrymore as well.
Christian Bale. Kurt Russell.
Well, Kurt Russell wasn't a child actor, was he?
Yeah. He started as a child actor.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought he was just sort of round about the time when he'd done Overboard.
One of his first things was him kicking Elvis in the shin. He was a huge, but he's like this little boy.
I didn't know. But yeah, it's rare though. It is rare for a child actor to go on to be such a good actor in other films, because they either don't ever do anything else.
Tom Holland.
Oh, okay, you're just coming out with loads of now then.
Well, it's not that rare. No, but I get what you mean. There are some child actors that I think what happens is...
If you look at all the films that we grew up watching, all the child's films we watched, who made it out of any of them?
I think it's...
And they were good actors and they were good films, so you think that would have catapulted them to...
You got the huge child actors.
Like Macaulay Culkin and that, was it Haley Joel Osment?
And they're the ones who often you watch and you think...
He was brilliant as a little kid.
Well, I'm saying that...
As an adult, he's sort of like, that's it. They don't really want either of them, do they?
Elijah Wood, he was a child actor.
Was he?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, okay. All right then. Okay, well, there's lots more child actors than I realised.
Yeah.
You win.
Although then there... Yeah, but you're right. No, there is others like...
Annie.
I'll tell you what, who I always thought...
Oliver.
The child actor who I think had the best career as a kid was Corey Feldman.
Oh, he was in some fantastic films, but then he wasn't, as I say, he's got a lot of bloody demons because of them films, isn't he? You know,
possibly,
But the films he was in, you'd be like, just even if I was in just one of them films.
Yeah. Gremlins, Goonies, Lost Boys, Stand By Me. Yeah. It was like every film he touched ended up being like gold dust. Yeah. So, I remember seeing an interview with him later in life, and he seemed quite bitter that someone the same age as him, DiCaprio, was having such a successful adult career, whereas he didn't. Anyway, so that was Unforgiven, and I hope you enjoyed it, and you should check it out if you like a western, or even if you don't like a western. So Ben, what have you got for next week?
Well, I'll give you one clue. Rocky!
Oh, Rocky. Rocky 4?
Yeah, Rocky 4.
Okay, lovely.
Yeah, Rocky 4. That's
Rocky
what I was thinking. That's exactly what I was thinking now. Rocky Horror Picture Show.
That's good timing. You know why?
Why?
Me, Mum, and Lily watched it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, last time was it last Sunday?
Oh,
we said, should watch the film. Lily, you haven't watched it all the way through.
And she's never seen it all the way through.
She'd seen it always up to Sweet Transvestite.
Oh, okay.
And then for one reason or another, whether she'd fallen asleep or we had to go somewhere, she never got past that part.
Right.
So I said, right, we've got to watch the whole film today. She liked it, but it was, you could see from her.
It is quite awkward, isn't it? It's very sexual, but
watching it with your mum and your daughter.
Yeah.
But
I know when I first see that film, it was on like it would be on like sort of Channel 4, Channel 5 late at night. I'd always get into it halfway through or something, and I'd seen it before, and I just remember thinking it's a really weird film. It was just really strange. It's like you felt naughty watching it. Like if someone was talking, you'd have to turn it off.
Yeah.
Like it's like a guilty pleasure. It was just like, but it's such
all the fishnets and stilettos.
Yeah, but if you think back then as well, it was really.
Oh yeah, I mean even now though.
Yeah.
If it had come out now, people would be like, oh, God, what was that? Yeah. That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
it's brilliant film though, brilliant film.
But we'll talk more about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next week.
Next week.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, and we will catch up with you soon.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye bye.